Um, we did get one report that as 3I Atlas gets closer now to the sun, telescopes here on Earth are picking up other objects flying alongside it. Is that accurate?
Well, there are always objects. The question is whether we see unusual activity. And in fact, I tasked my research team at the Galileo project to monitor the sky for any unusual activity, because it's possible that if it's a alien probe, that in fact it would release some mini probes that will visit the planets.
Yeah.
You know, we should not assume anything. It's a blind date, and we should watch the other side, you know, just in case there is a serial killer.
Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Ahmad Bayan, coming to you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Now you see in the 3I Atlas, right? Now this going on for some time now, that you know you saw them seeing actually they're seeing things coming into the atmosphere and whatnot. Now this happening for decades, centuries now. Alright? They're now only coming out to speak about it because they're basically trying to prep people's mind in getting ready for when so-called aliens, you know, little green men, you know, shall come, and you know the whole world will have to basically defend the world, just like how in the movies is be and whatnot. Alright? So Esau is basically just bringing a false narrative, right? And you know, Esau knows his time is up. You know, Esau knows that he's actually living on borrowed time right now. Alright, and hey, his time is almost up. And right now Esau is scared. Alright? Because he's seeing the signs. He's seeing the things that is coming. Alright? Also, it have many people getting visions of these things also. Alright? Let us play it back again.
We did get one report that as 3I Atlas gets closer now to the sun, telescopes here on Earth are picking up other objects flying alongside it. Is that accurate?
Well, there are always objects. The question is whether we see unusual activity. And in fact, I tasked my research team at the Galileo project to monitor the sky for any unusual activity, because it's possible that if it's a alien probe, that in fact it would release some mini probes that will visit the planets.
Yeah.
You know, we should not assume anything. It's a blind date, and we should watch the other side, you know, just in case there is a serial killer.
Right, so you know, let's go to the book of Zechariah chapter 5, and we read from verse 1. Alright, because this is actually what they see in here is actually that curse that is coming upon the whole earth. Alright, many people believe and think that is possible, or think that is actually going to happen. Alright, but guess what? It is going to happen. Alright, because it is written. This is Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. The headline, it says, the flying scroll. It says, then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Right, that flying roll, what Zechariah talking about here is basically a chariot of the Lord. Alright, That is what it is, a chariot of the Lord. Alright, because they didn't back then when they have to explain something, they could only explain it to what they know, to things that they know of in that time. Alright, and in those days of old, they used to hold a lot of scrolls that time, not really books but scrolls. Right, so one of the chariots, of the Lord have that type of shape. Alright, and that's what he saw. Alright, so it says here, verse 2, and he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Right? Let's read it in the NLT. Zechariah 5:1 in the NLT, it says, I looked up again and saw a scroll flying through the air. What do you see? The angel asked. I see a flying scroll. I replied, it appears to be about 30 feet long and 15 feet wide. Right? So basically it wasn't a large chariot, but a good sized one. Alright, because it has some of them is as the size of buildings, it has some of them as the size of mountains. They are very large. The scriptures say, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said that the earth is his footstool. So imagine the size of these chariots. Alright? Imagine the size of the Lord's throne. Alright? And that is just a massive chariot. Alright? Let's jump down to verse 3. In the KJV, it says, Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, for every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side, according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side, according to it. Right? So this is the curse. This is the curse that Esau is seeing coming. Alright? This is what Esau seeing coming here with his telescopes and whatnot. He's seeing basically he's seeing his number. Alright? He's seeing the Lord returning to basically do what? To take him out. Alright? All these chariots that he have been seeing, the sightings that he have been speaking about, the things that they seeing out there,
We did.
it also have someone who came out and speak about that. I think it was Big Brother Burra was speaking about it. Where it have a particular fellow who has that telescope, with certain type of lens where the naked eye cannot see, but through the lens you could be able to see. And what the guy sees out there in the firmament, right, is he see a massive ship basically hovering over the earth. It's right there right now. Alright, now with our naked eyes we cannot see it, but it's right there. Alright, Esau, he knows it there. Right? So therefore, this is hence the reason why this devil Esau, Elam, so-called white man, the top banking families, this is the reason why they are coming on with great wrath right now. This is why they are attacking the Lord's people. Alright? Because he's trying to basically do what? He's trying to make sure his kingdom continue forever. Alright? By trying to delete Jacob. which are the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians today. All right. This is Zechariah 5 and 4. It says, I will bring forth, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. Who is the thief today? Esau Edom, so-called white man. All right, he is that thief. All right, he stole our people. You know, he stole us. He sell us out. He sell us to different countries and whatnot. You know, he scattered us abroad. All right. You know, he steal our lands. You know, he take them by violence and all these different type of things. This is what Esau did. All right. And guess what? He has to pay for it because he touched the apple of the Lord's eye. All right. Let's read it over again. Verse 4. It says, I will bring it forth, say the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Right? So the Lord is coming to do what? Destroy this devil, you know, with this particular curse, right? Which is these angels. All right, when we could go to the book of Psalms. Select it. Psalm 68, I believe it is. And 17. It says, the chariots of the Lord, the chariots of power are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord Yahushai is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. Right? So as I mentioned, the guy who has the telescope, a powerful telescope with a special lens, but these lenses are very expensive lens. Right? He's seeing what it has out there. Alright? And you know, he's also will have that type of technology, even better technology than that. You know, where you can see things happening and see what is coming. Alright? So what he's so seeing is a massive ship, and many other smaller ones. Right? And you know, all of them belongs to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright, because this is how the angels of the Lord travels. Right? They don't travel by what you think they might be traveling with. You know, they use these vessels to go into the firmament, to go into the heavens, and to come back down to earth. Alright, they go to and fro. Alright. It says the chariots of power are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord Yahushai is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. Right? So the Lord is among them at all times. Alright? So when we come back here, you know, Esau is known as that thief. Alright? He is known as that thief. He stole. Alright? He came against our people and all these things. Alright? He kills. He do things wickedly and whatnot. And what the Lord is coming to do is basically take him out. Alright? This is Jeremiah chapter 7 and verse 9. It says, will he steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burneth incense unto Baal, and walk after the gods whom ye know not, right? Because many of our people today are also following in that footsteps of these devils. All right, they giving in to the things that these devils just do. All right, that's why the scripture also say, ye are of your father the devil, the lust of your father you will do. Right, many of our people also are going to get smitten by these chariots. All right, they're going to get murdered, they're going to get killed. Basically, they're going to get killed by these chariots of the Lord. All right, because this curse is not only for Esau only, is also for all those who swear it, all those who as you see here, committed adultery and whatnot, all those who basically come against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who's an enemy of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright, they all are going to feel it. They all going to get it. Alright. Let's go to the book of Malachi. Chapter 3. Let me check something here about Kasha. Yeah. Malachi 3 and 8. Right, you're seeing what the headline saying here. It says you have robbed power. Right? Or you have robbed God. Right? Who robbed Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai? Esau again. Alright? It says here, verse 8, will a man rob power? Yet ye have robbed me, but ye say, wherein we have robbed thee, in tithes and offerings. Alright? And Salakia, this also going into Jakes also. Alright? Verse 9, it says, ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Right? Because Esau, Esau also robbed the nation of Israel. Alright? He sold our people to other heathens and so forth. We are scattered abroad on the four corners of the earth, through the Atlantic slave trade and all these things, right? So this devil have plenty things to answer for, He has a lot to answer for. And this is why he's coming on with great wrath, because he knows that he have but a short time. He's seeing the prophets rising up. He's seeing the prophets preaching this gospel with truth and sincerity. Alright, he knows that his number, that the Lord has his number. Okay? Matter of fact, let's get one more script here. Let's go to the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. It says here to the headline, it says, the nations will be judged. Verse 1, it says, for behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? Because the Lord is mustering up the battle right now. He's bringing all these countries, all these nations together, that cannot see eye to eye, to fight, and there he is going to gather all of them and destroy them all. Alright? It says, and will plead with them there, for my people and for my heritage. Right? Who's the Lord people again? The so-called Negroes, the Hispanics, and the Native American Indian study, right? It says, for my people and for my heritage, Israel, right? Israel name is what? Yasharallah, all right? He Prince Power. It says, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, right? This is what Esau did. He scattered us among the nations and parted his land, all right? It says here, verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Alright, so evil is. Verse 4, yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Philistine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. Right? Because the Lord, he ain't taking no shit anymore from anybody. Alright? He reached a boiling point where it is enough is enough. Alright? Esau push the boundaries. Alright? The scripture talk about the Lord was just angry with us for a little. You know, that's roughly paraphrasing, but what Esau did, Esau helped push the afflictions even further. Yes, the Lord used Esau to come against Israel to keep us in captivity and whatnot, but Esau pushed the afflictions further. Alright? He thinks that, you know, he could create a device to place in your hand or into your forehead, you know, for you to buy or sell. Alright? The Lord already draw that line. You're taking it too far. Alright? So the Lord is coming back to what? Destroy him. And he knows that. Verse 5, it says, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, right? Because when you go back and check out the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and so forth, you know, they have tons of gold. They have rubies, fine stones, and all these different things, you know, store up in their bunkers and store up underground, you know. And what the Lord basically doing there is making them heap these things closer to them. Alright? Because these same things that they stole from Israel, alright, it belongs to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright? And the Lord is coming back to take back everything from Esau. Alright? Verse 6, it says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Right? And this is what he did. Alright? He robbed, he steal. Alright? He lies. Esau cross. You know, Esau tick all the things that the Lord don't like. Esau tick every single one of them. Alright? Henceforth, the reason why the Lord is bringing that curse upon the earth. Alright? That flying roll. You know? That massive chariot. Alright? So keep your eyes peeled and pay attention of what actually happening.
Get one report that
Alright, of what actually happening, because hey, Esau, your time is up. Your time is up. You know, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is here, and he's coming to remove you off his throne. So with that, I hope this lesson here was edifying to the elect of Israel, and I will say Shalom and Abad Babal.